Garrett, is there something, Chip, you talked about the need to think about those things. How far in advance should you be thinking about these? Because most families, particularly of a certain generation, aren't really good about talking to their children, their adult children, about these types of things, particularly money.
And it's usually good. It's usually hard for that first generation to let go. Usually they're thinking about it way too late in the game.
So Garrett, what's the timing? How do you start that process, or when should you start that process? Starting thinking of the creator, not necessarily the next generation or next purchaser.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great question. The answer is, kind of a joking answer is right now, because you need to get started as soon as you possibly can, especially if you're going to transition the business. That needs to happen years, if not decades, before you actually do it, because they need to be working in the business, understand the business, earn credibility with the employees as a known operator, that they've not just a child of the founder, but also talented in what they do. That's a huge misstep that a lot of people make, is they bring in their children late to the game and they don't earn the credibility with the employees, with the customers, with their suppliers. And so they need to have credibility. And I think even more so, Craig, is the need to have a clear vision of what's going to happen with that business, instilled with the family from the beginning. So there's no real question as to what's going to happen. As we all know, though, especially in today's world, there's a lot of the second generation that really don't show an interest, especially if the family's very successful. They may have other more kind of altruistic ambitions that really don't involve running a business. And actually, the biggest challenge is finding qualified family members to do that.
So maybe just deciding, should I even give it to the family? If not, and maybe we need another alternative. When you're looking at, should I give it to the family member, do you find that I see a lot of different styles. One style, of course, is to do nothing and just hope and pray and let it fall. But another style I see is sometimes letting or requiring or encouraging the next generation to go out and get experience, credibility somewhere else before coming in. And sometimes it's get the experience and the business and the credibility. What do you see, Chip? What do you see out there as kind of a good model, or at least thought process for the model?
Yeah, I think that, first and foremost, you avoid hurting feelings when people know where the expectations are, where the lateral limits are. And so that goes into having good governance for the family business to begin with. If you do these things, this is what you can expect. If you do not, you should not expect these certain things. So, for instance, we expect you to go to college. We expect you to get an MBA and be qualified, so that when you're talking to the CFO, you know what they're saying. Just because you have the same last name, that does not mean that you're going to take over the front office. I think that next generation going out and getting experience is enormously helpful, because they can see what another culture looks like, good, bad, take those lessons and bring those back. The last thing you want is generation after generation of groupthink. So even if it's just, summer internships and, see what big corporate America's doing, and then see what, maybe a competitor's doing,